Great. So usually our hero is the main character of the story. All right, great. We have an example of a hero here. Leo, do you remember his name?
Pip.
Pip. Yeah, so Pip was our hero in the story Pip. Great. All right. Esther, will you read the second fact?
The hero usually has many positive traits.
Good. Yes. The hero usually has many positive traits. So there are usually a lot of things about the hero or the main character that we like when we listen. Maybe they're very kind, maybe they are very funny, or maybe they have a lot of goodness to give to other people. Usually, what they have to do or who they are is very good, very positive, and that's why we like them so much, and that's why we want them to succeed in the story, in whatever they do in the story. Okay? Okay, Ryan, will you read our third fact about heroes?
The listener of the story wants the hero to succeed.
Good. Yes. So, a lot of times in stories, when we listen to them, Uh, it usually has our one main character, our hero, and we want them to accomplish whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. So if they are fighting their conflict, we really want them to succeed. We want them to solve their problem in the story and not let the conflict stop them, right? So for example, in Pip, we wanted Pip to become a guide dog, right? We were so happy to see Pip succeed when he was able to do that, right? All right, very good. Let's see. Can anyone give me an example of a hero from a story they enjoy? Leo, can you give me an example?
Um, um, Pip saved the bride woman and help her.
What story is it, Leo?
Oh, like Pip.
Oh, in Pip. Yes. Okay, good. Um, say that one more time, Leo.
Oh, um, Pip saved the bride woman and help
So
her a
yes,
lot.
that's something that he did that was positive, and that was something that we saw, oh, he's our hero. We want him to succeed in what he wants to do, which is to be a guide dog, because we see he has goodness. He wants to do something to help people, and that makes us like him, right? Very good. Let's see. Sandy, will you think of one of your favorite stories? It can be a movie or a television show or a book. And think of the hero in the story, and will you tell us their name and what story they're from?
Okay, let me think. Um, uh, my favorite TV series is JoJo's Adventure, and its main characters is name is his name is how do I say uh I don't know how to say his name.
That's okay.
So and he's need to fight the bad guys and save his mother.
Oh, wow. And what is something about the main character that you really like about him? What is a trait he has?
Trait. He has amazing power,
Ooh.
and and yeah, amazing power.
Good, great. And is he kind and does he help people or do good things with the power or no, not so much?
Uh, yes, he do a lot.
It does a lot of good things?
Yes,
Great. Yes, wonderful. So a lot of times with heroes, especially heroes who have powers, we often see them doing a lot of good things, try to help others or themselves. Great. Good example. Thanks, Sandy. Nice job. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about heroes? No? Okay. Well, let's move on to the opposite of a hero, the villain. So let's see. Let's repeat after me one more time. Villain.
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 Good. Ryan, can you read the first fact about villains?
A character who is causing conflict for the hero.
Good. So usually the villain is kind of the opposite of the hero. They are usually up to no good and causing some trouble for our hero. That's making it hard for the hero to succeed in what they want to do. Good. Um, Esther, will you read the second fact, please?
Usually, the villain has negative traits.
Good. Try one more time. Usually the villain has negative traits.
Usually, the villain has negative traits.
Good. So again, opposite from the hero. The hero we usually see has a lot of positive traits. They might be very kind or might be very generous. Um, we want to see them succeed, right? The villain, a lot of times in stories, is not kind. Maybe they're very mean or greedy. They might want something. They might be considered evil. So a lot of times the villains, they have more negative traits, and we don't want to see them succeed as the reader or listener of stories. Okay? Do you all recognize this villain in the picture? Let's see. Leo, do you recognize this villain?
Let me see.
I can get a little
Uh,
closer to. Oh, there we go.
oh, it is, um, I forgot its name.
That's okay.
Uh,
Let's see. Let's see if someone can help you think of it. Um,
uh,
Esther or
Snow White, the queen.
yes, yes, this character is from Snow White. Is that Susan? Thank you, Susan. The evil queen in Snow White. Let's see. Give me a thumbs up if you've seen or heard of the story Snow White. Sandy has Leo, Esther, are we all? Yes. A very well-known story, right? So in our story, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, there is Snow White, who's a young girl, and she is the most beautiful girl in all of the land. And the evil queen right here is very jealous of her and she wants to be the most beautiful. So she causes some problems for Snow White, right? So let's think. What's maybe a trait or something about a villain, either the evil queen or any villain that you can think of? So think of a villain that you know and name something about them that makes them a villain. Okay. Ryan, can you think of something?
Ryan，想一个坏人，bad guy。Ryan, could you unmute?
The witch.
Witch, yes. And what is something about this, the witch, that makes her a villain? Is she mean? Is she kind? Is she funny? What's something that makes her a villain?
什么特质让他成为一个就是反面的角色，不好的角色？
She's bad.
Right. So we know she's not up to no good. Sandy, what's another word we can describe our villain? Oh, you're muted, Sandy.
Describe villain. Bad or mean.
Bad or mean. Good. All right. So villains can be bad or mean or evil in different ways. So when we create our villains, we can think, what are they going to do that creates a problem for the hero in the story? Okay. And some villains are sneaky. Some villains are very upfront and they will do bad things and they're not afraid to do those things. Some are more think about their actions more. Maybe they're very smart. Okay. So there's a lot of villains can have all these different traits, but they use their powers for evil, not good. Okay. Great. All right. Let's move on to our next character. All right. Repeat after me. Sidekick.
Sidekick.
Good. And Leo, can you read the fact about sidekicks, please?
Um, the sidekick wants to help the hero in the story.
Good. Yes. Usually sidekicks we see are maybe the hero's best friend or maybe an animal companion or someone who's very close to the main character or close to the hero. And they're really trying to help them with their problem or maybe to help them with what the hero wants to do. Great. Let's see. Give me a thumbs up if you recognize our sidekick here in the center. Do you all know this snowman? Yes. Good. Esther, who is this?
I don't know how to say his English name.
That's okay. So his English name is Olaf. What's his name in Chinese?
雪宝.
Say it one more time.
雪宝.
Xie Bao.
Yeah.
Ah, great. So, our friend here, what movie is he from, Sandy?
Frozen.
Frozen. Yes, great. And so does Olaf help someone in the story Frozen? Let's see. Right.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sandy. Go ahead. Answer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, who does he help? Or what does he do to help? That might be a better question to ask. What does he do to help the main characters of Frozen? Hmm. Let's see. Sandy, do you remember?
He helped Anna to find her sister.
Yeah, so he kind of helps her and he encourages her when she's feeling maybe a little sad or a little um, lost and doesn't know what to do next. He is the person that cheers her up and he helps her to keep going and to continue on her search, right? So that makes him a good sidekick. Great, nice job. Okay, let's take a look at our next type of character. Our supporting characters. Repeat after me. Supporting characters.
Supporting
Supporting
characters.
character.
Character.
Good. Okay. Leo, will you read the first fact, please?
The story does not mainly focus on supporting characters.
Good. So usually our story, we focus on the main character, usually the hero. We're very focused on what they do. However, there's more characters in the story than just the main character. And those are supporting characters. We will hear a bit about supporting characters, but we don't fully focus or know everything about supporting characters. They're there to support or help the main character. Good. Ryan, can you read the second fact, please?
Supporting characters appear or are mentioned often in the story.
Good. So the hero, usually we see all the time or most of the time in the story. But the supporting characters are not there all the time, but come up a lot, often. Sometimes, most of the time in the story, but not all the time, like the main characters. Good. Esther, will you read the last fact, please?
The sidekick is a specific example of a supporting character.
Good. Let's try this word all together. Repeat after me. Specific.
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 Good. So specific is an exact, like one particular example. Okay. So the sidekick, like Olaf from Frozen, he's also a supporting character. We see him a lot, but we don't see Olaf all of the time. And he is there often to help our main character, but he's not our main focus. But he helps support the story, he helps support our heroes, and helps move the story along. Great. Okay. Does anyone recognize this guy from Harry Potter? Give me a thumbs up if you do. His name in the story is Neville Longbottom, and he is someone that is Harry's classmate, and he helps Harry Potter with some things in the story. He'll give him some information or maybe help him with some problems Harry's having, but we don't see him all of the time. But he does help support Harry Potter when he is having some troubles. Okay. But he's not there all the time. So that's how we know he supports the story. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about supporting characters or sidekicks? No? Okay. Great. Well, we have one more type of character that we want to learn about. Let's take a look. Okay, repeat after me. Minor characters.
Minor characters.
Minor characters.
Good. Sandy, will you read the first fact, please?
Okay, minor characters do not get a lot of focus.
Good. Nice job. Ryan, will you read the second fact, please?
They help move the story along.
Great. Wonderful. So our minor characters, we don't see them, or we might see them sometimes, but we don't know a lot about them. So, they might pop up and they might help move the story along. So we might say, oh, okay. They might help with the plot, but we don't know about a lot about those characters themselves. They're not a main character or they don't support, right? Good. Leo, will you read our third fact, please?
They may interact with the heroes, sidekick, villain, and other characters.
Good. So our minor characters, they might pop up in any part of the story, and maybe they have a message for one of these other characters. Maybe they do something for the other characters. Are any of you fans of Star Wars? Give me a thumbs up if you know or like Star Wars. Let's see, Esther, Sandy, everyone. Great. So the stormtroopers here are a good example of some minor characters. There are so many of them, and they are a big part of our story, but we do not know every single one of them, right? We don't know a lot about them individually, but they help move the story along and they interact with some of our other characters like heroes or villains, right? Great. Okay. Any more questions or anyone want to share anything about any of these types of characters? No? All right. So let's move on then. All right. So we know about our different types of characters. And what's even more important to know about these different types of characters, what makes them interesting is their traits. So we're going to talk a bit more about character traits and what makes characters interesting. Okay? So with each character, you can have what's called a round character or a flat character. And they're in all types of stories. Okay? So let's take a look at round characters. Sandy, will you read the first fact?
A round character is complex. They have many traits.
Good. So a round character is complex. That means they have a lot about them that makes them interesting. Okay, so if we were all in a story, we would be around characters. We have many traits about ourselves, right? We have things that we do that are interesting. We all have some good traits from us, maybe some not so good traits about us. We have all a full life that we live that is interesting, right? So that makes us have many traits. Okay, great. So Ryan, will you read this second fact, please?
A flash character is simple. They only have one or two traits.
Good. So in some stories, when we hear a character, maybe a story that is a bit, maybe a shorter story or a very simple story, we might meet a character that doesn't have many things about them. We might know very few things about them. Maybe they are very kind, and maybe they work with computers, and maybe that's the only things we know about them, right? Maybe it's a character that works at a bank. That might be the only thing we know about them. So we don't know much else about the character or their life besides one or two things. So that is called a flat character. We don't really see much beyond what's on the surface for that character. Okay? That makes sense? So two different types of characters. So if there's a lot to know and they feel like a real life person or character that has many different, hi Dylan, many different traits, then that is a round character. If they are very simple and we only know one or two things about them, that is a flat character. Great. Okay, does anyone have questions about round or flat characters? No? Okay, great. Okay, so those are two different things about our types of characters. All right, now we're going to look at two other things. Okay, let's take a look. Static versus dynamic. Let's try that together. Repeat after me. Static
Static.
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 versus dynamic.
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 Let's try it one more time. Static,
Static.
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 dynamic.
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 Banana.
Good. Okay, so these are two other types of characters that we see in stories, and let's see what they are about. Let's see. Esther, will you read this first fact, please?
Dynamic characters do not change their change in the story.
Good. So a static character, they stay the same throughout the whole story. So going back to our example of the evil queen from Snow White, let's see, bring her back. Oops, that's not the evil queen. There she is. So if we think of the evil queen, in the beginning of the story, she's evil, that's part of her name, evil and greedy and mean. Okay? And then at the end of the story, she has not changed. She still wants to be the most beautiful person and she still is evil. She doesn't change anything about her. No, nothing changes. So she would be a static character because those traits that make her her don't really change. Okay? All right, and now let's look at the next. Oops. Let's look at our next fact here. Leo, will you read this, please?
Dynamic characters change a part of themselves throughout the story.
Nice job, Leo. So yes, a character that is a dynamic character, something about them changes, right? Let's go to an example here with our friend Pip. All right, so our friend Pip, he kind of learns some things throughout the story, right? So he's very kind and he's a very sweet dog, yes? Then he has to change some things. He maybe works a little bit harder and works a little bit smarter, and then he uses these things to help himself to succeed, right? So Pip would be more of a dynamic character because there's some things that he changes throughout the story. He doesn't stay the same. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's look at some examples. Okay, so let's look here. We have our friend Olaf from Frozen, our sidekick that we talked about earlier, and then our stormtroopers. There are many, many of them. Okay, so who is a round character? Olaf or a stormtrooper? So this means they have many traits. Which one is a round character? Raise your hand if you think it is Olaf. I see Leo, Sandy. All right. Esther, Ryan. Great. All right. Anyone, raise your hand if you think it is the stormtrooper. All right. So everyone says Olaf, you are correct. So, like we were saying earlier, stormtroopers, there are so many of them. We don't really know what their personalities are or what they do, who they are. We see what they do throughout the story, but we don't know much about them. Olaf, we know many things about him, right? Let's see. Esther, what is a word you would use to describe Olaf?
Funny.
Funny. Yes, he is a very funny in the story. Great. And Ryan, can you think of a different word that would describe Olaf?
I don't know.
That's okay. Sandy, will you help Ryan out, please?
Uh, Confident.
Ooh, good word. Yeah, he is very confident. He knows what he likes. He likes. He has a very big, confident personality. Great. Nice word. Leo, can you think of another word besides funny and confident that might describe Olaf?
Optimistic.
Ooh, a great word. Yes, optimistic. He is always looking on the bright side of the situation. Great. Dylan, do you know this character, Olaf, the snowman from Frozen?
雪宝 Do you know this character? 你知道这个人吗？雪宝
Yes.
Yes, great. And what is a word you would use to describe Olaf?
Funny.
Funny?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So funny. He's funny, confident, optimistic. I would add he's loyal. He's a very good friend. He's a loyal friend. Very good. He's very caring too. So many traits to describe Olaf. All right. And how about stormtroopers? Let's see. Ryan, what word would you use to describe a stormtrooper?
Interesting.
Was that interesting, Ryan?
Yes.
Oh, good one. Okay. And Leo, what's a word you would use to describe a stormtrooper?
Um, Let me think.
Take your time.
I think it's bravery.
Bravery?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So they remind me, the word I think I would use to describe them, and I'm looking at this picture, is they all seem to be in one, like in unison, they all do the same things, right? That's what makes me think of. Good. Okay. So we have our round character and our flat character. There's not many words that we could describe each characters. We kind of describe the group of stormtroopers. Great. Okay, let's look at our next two pictures here. This is our evil queen, like we mentioned. And have you all seen the movie Finding Nemo? Give me a thumbs up if you have seen the movie Finding Nemo. Leo has, Esther has, Sandy has. See, Dylan, you have. Ryan, have you seen it? Yes. Okay, so you're all familiar with our clownfish here named Marlin. That is Nemo's dad in the movie Finding Nemo. Okay, so who is a flat character? The evil queen or Marlin the clownfish? So who does not change much throughout the story? All right, let's see. Raise your hand if you think it is the evil queen. Okay, I see Sandy and Esther, Leo, Ryan. Everyone says it. Yes, so the evil queen does not change throughout the story, right? She is still not very nice, evil, mean, unkind to Snow White throughout the entire story. Nothing changes. Okay, but let's think about our friend Marlin here. Let's test our brains. At the beginning of the story, Finding Nemo, what is Marlin like? What is something that describes him? Does anyone remember? Let's see, Esther, can you remember?
I don't remember.
That's okay. Sandy, do you remember?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know.
That's okay. So I'll help you all out. So in the movie Finding Nemo, so we have Marlin, the dad, and his son Nemo. And Marlin, is very worried and very scared a lot of the time. And he just wants to protect Nemo. He doesn't want him to get hurt. And he's very, very scared and worried that something will happen. Okay. And then something does happen. And at the end of the story, he still worries a bit, but he has learned to be more open-minded. He kind of lets Nemo do things, gives him some more freedom. He's a bit more relaxed by the end of the story. So he changed. Something that was very hard for him is now different. Yes, he still worries, but not as much as he did at the start of the story. So he's changed a bit more. Okay, great. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right, let's move on. All right, so we've learned quite a bit about different types of characters and what makes a character round or flat or static and dynamic. Great. You're all doing wonderfully. All right, so let's move on to our question of the day. Okay, let's read this together. Dylan, will you read this question?
Who are your favorite type of characters in stories?
Nice job. So, who are your favorite types of characters in stories? So, um, okay. So for example, you might say, my favorite type of characters are the villains because they add excitement to the story. Right? Some people love villains because they add a certain level of excitement or drama or interesting things. Maybe you like the hero because they have such positive traits and maybe you admire them. All right. So, who are your favorite types of characters in stories? All right. So, think about it for a second. It could be a supporting character. Maybe you like the minor characters. Okay. Let's see. Leo, what do you think?
Um, my favorite type of character is minor characters because it often adds some um, interesting in a story, and it is an important part for a story.
Great, wonderful. I agree. Minor characters are very important. Nice job. Esther, what do you think?
My favorite type of character is sidekick because it sometimes is funny and make me happy.
Nice job. Yes, a lot of times the sidekicks add a lot of comedy into our stories and make us laugh a lot. So, yes, great observation, Esther. Nice job. All right. Ryan, how about you?
My favorite type of characters is psychic because they are funny.
You also like sidekicks too. Yes, we're similar, same reason as Esther. Yes, it's important to get those laughs in a story, especially if they're dramas or serious or even horror stories, right? Nice job. Dylan, do you have a favorite type of character in stories?
Favorite type of characters is exciting because it's interesting and funny.
Very good. Yes. So sidekicks for similar reasons. Yes. Wonderful. Sidekicks are popular. Very nice. Sandy, how about you?
My favorite type of characters is the main characters because their stories always encourage me.
Very nice. Oh, lovely. Yes, we can find a lot of inspiration and encouragement from our main characters, right? Th- Those positive traits they have can be very encouraging and inspiring in our own lives too. And we can learn a lot from them. Nice job. All right, everyone. Great job today. So we learned a lot about characters in our stories. So next time you're watching a movie or reading a story or listening to a story, you can keep in mind, okay, that's the hero, or you might point out a minor character or supporting character. And you can notice, do they have many traits or not many traits? And if they're round or flat, or if they change throughout the story, and if that makes them static or dynamic. I will post a link in our Google Classroom with a game to practice some of these new phrases and words. Okay, so you can all practice throughout the next few days. Okay,
Okay.
wonderful. All right,
Okay, so give me some time to explain the summer program.
sure.
So our summer program will start next week. So if you want to join us, you can contact me. And I have posted a class code. The students, please check out our group chats and key in the class code. so that you'll be able to join our Google Classroom. Okay, so everybody, please mute your microphone and say thank you, teacher Bridget. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, teacher
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 Bridget.
Bridget.
Bridget, we will see you next week.
Yes, I'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend, and
Okay.
I'll see you then.
All right. Have a
All right.
great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.